Yes, I do. In our country and in North America, we waste a lot more food than in the past. Although in third world countries, it's almost unthinkable.
Absolutely, I think they waste a lot of food. They don't value what a meal is. And because of that, it's quicker to go for fast foods than real food. Where if they took the time to cook the real food, I'm pretty sure they would save more and not have to waste so much stuff.
지금은 도시 생활하고 있거든요. 서울 생활하고 있으니까 서울 생활을 하는 사람들이나 또 시골 생활도 그렇게 됐지만 생활 인구도 넉넉해져서 음식을 귀한지 모르고 먹고 버리는 게 많아. 근데 저희 가정은 버리는 거에 절대 금물이에요.
I think that food is cheaper than it used to be. So people buy more and then they waste more. In the past, food was more expensive, so people just bought what they needed.
In Ontario, people produce about 3.6 million tons of food waste every year. That's about $31 billion thrown away in the trash.
Have you ever gone shopping with an empty stomach? Well, I sure have, and because I was so hungry, I bought more than I really needed.
This is a red flag as you end up buying food that you usually won't buy. And after a while, reality will come pouring in and you may realize you won't be able to finish all by the due date.
In some cases, you may have bought products that were very close to their expiry dates, so you throw them out in fear that they have already gone bad. This is especially true for dairy products like milk.
In most cases, you may have totally forgotten about much of the food in your fridge and only find out once they almost past the expiry date.
Another very likely situation is having leftovers from a meal. This can be because there has been too much food cooked, so you put the leftovers in containers only to not want to eat them for the upcoming meals. And as they are abandoned in the fridge, the food starts to expire and most often they get thrown away.
Canadians are throwing out good edible food in a way it's like throwing your money down the drain.
Just in general, why should people care about food waste?
Because that food can be used for people who are starving and dying of starvation. So that food can be useful to a lot of people that are that don't have basic needs like food. So it's important to care because the food is being wasted, which is not a good thing. If it wasn't being wasted, it could have been used for something better. So it's there's a better purpose than just wasting it.
But there's also another reason, and I actually didn't know this. But when food gets thrown into landfills, it creates a large amount of methane, which rots, and it creates a gas it's really harmful to the environment and humans.
We were both born when the war was in this last year, so there had been food shortages, there was rationing, people were kind of going to their gardens and instead of having grass, they were planting things that they could eat.
有些人需要就是有些人有养猪啊这些给猪吃。
Sometimes my mom would use them to make a different dish. So if there was any leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, she would chop it up and put it into noodles and a creamy sauce and make turkey tetrazzini from leftover meat.
The best way to reduce food waste is to put less on your plate. Take what you can eat. If you are still hungry, you can go and get more.
Don't eat a snack when it is almost lunch or dinner because then you won't feel hungry and it's time to eat. That way you only eat as much food as you need to and no leftover food is thrown away.
Our next food waste tip for you is to buy ugly fruits and vegetables. Next time you go produce shopping, try to look out for misshapen or aesthetically displeasing fruits and vegetables. They're just as good as regular ones and you can often get them at a discount. Plus the purple one in the back looks a lot like a flamingo.
By keeping a food waste diary, you're keeping track of what you could have eaten or thrown out because it wasn't edible, to make sure you aren't wasting food someone else could have eaten. Keeping a food waste diary will not only keep you organized but also help the world. Just because your food looks different or has an imperfection doesn't mean it's bad. So get a food waste diary today and stop wasting perfectly good food.
Take a look at the packaging of your food. What does the date say? Is it use by or is it best by? This may not seem that significant to you, but it truly makes all the difference. If it says use by, I sadly don't see a future for it. However, if it says best by, try smelling it, maybe giving it a taste test. Just because it's not as fresh as it could be doesn't mean you need to chuck it in the trash. You won't believe how much money you'll save.
Pass it with meat sauce, chicken with rice. These are dishes that I usually prepare where there's no food waste. My mother taught me how to cook both of these dishes. Freezing fruits and vegetables as well as natural juices to make smoothies, using bones for meat products to make broths and soups. These are things you can do to prevent food waste.
And one of the things that I think is really good to do is cook a lot and partition them off in smaller meals and possibly freeze them and basically what that does, prevents you from having to cook every single day, but also preserving the meal that you are basically planning to eat. Plan your meals for the day, plan your meals for the week. That's a good thing. And once your meats are seasoned or it's a longer lifespan because those are natural preservatives in it. So my thing is, I think the best thing to do is just make a lot of meals and save them.
One technique to keep food from wasting was or even if food had gone off a little bit, if you used hot peppers would disguise the taste of food that was starting to go off, or in some ways it might also preserve the food by killing the bacteria.
We can learn a lot from indigenous people in that often most of anything that we choose to eat is good to eat, and learning not to waste food and throw away parts of food that are perfectly edible.
The dishes that I make where no food is wasted are the ones that our family loves the most. So things like lasagna, chicken parmesan, chicken cacciatore, dugosht, which is an Indian curry. We eat every last scrap because I just know what our family loves to eat, and so I make those dishes.
就是我们会把就是前天剩下的话，我们就是可能会做一些新的菜出来，比如说剩的饭，我们可以做一些炒饭，然后剩菜我们可能第二天我们可能还会再炒一下，再重新热一下，我们都可以吃。
Go on frequent shopping trips to avoid things going bad.
This was very enjoyable and I learned a lot of new things, so thanks.
Yeah, I hope the audience learned something too.
그게 끝이에요. 부모님 너무 감사해요.